What is going on, everybody? What is going on? It is the Viking Weeb back at it again. I wanted to take today's session as kind of a special. Monster Hunter World is probably one of my favorite games of all time. So, without further ado, I wanted to get into this and give it my rating. I'm going to tell you how I felt when I first started playing this game, and I'm going to tell you also how I feel now playing this game in 2024. But yes, absolutely. Thank you for joining me again today. I am very, very thankful for your views and your support. This episode, although special, was also a recommendation from one of the members of the Bucket Brigade. So shout out to Wyatt for telling me that I should rate one of the greatest games known to mankind. So, I want to get into a few things. My initial thoughts on graphics when this came out was beautiful. I started on Xbox, so the graphics were, regular, normal, I guess you could say. But as time went on, I moved over to the PC world, and I think graphics just got better. So, yeah, I was always a longsword main up until World. I think I switched over to Hammer shortly after, briefly touching Insect Glaive and Gun Lance. And I moved over to Hammer in World because, big hammer go bonk. So let me dive in real quick and show you some things here that I really enjoy about this game. So for starters, one of my favorite things is you could train with just about any weapon you want to, alright? You can get used to it. A lot of games nowadays, you just kind of have to play and figure it out. But this game gave us a training area. And I love that. I love that they did this for us. Because, honestly, I needed it. I needed it so bad. But to be fair, this game, by far, the reason it's my favorite, is just the sheer power that this little character that you create does. And it feels so good. There's builds that you can make. There's so many different things that you can do. I'll start off by just showing you a little bit as far as builds go. So if you're somebody that likes a grind for monster parts, or just parts in general to make different things, let me take you on a little tour. So, first of all, you have equipment, right? You have your helmet, chest, arms, waist, and legs. Now, obviously, this is not the stuff I'm wearing. I'm wearing layered armor. We'll get into that later. But for right now, just know you basically kill monsters. That's the whole point of this game, right? We kill monsters to upgrade our armor. The more armor and skills we have, because there are skills attached to armor, as you can see, this is my current build. Each piece of armor comes with something special. Maybe it has, we'll look at this one for instance. This one has attack boost 3 on it. It also comes with an art. Now, different monsters have different bonus stats. If you wear a certain amount of armor, they give you a certain amount of stats. So for me, I'm only wearing 1. That's all I need. And I get this one unlocked, which is Punishing Draw. You can look at your skill info at any time. As you can see, stun effect to draw attacks slightly increases attack power. Perfect. Perfect for hammer builds, greatsword builds, just about any heavy weapon build. But let me not get too in depth. Let me not jump into it head first. I still want to give it an honest rating without giving a how to. So, in a nutshell, there's builds, right? Each armor comes with its own piece of the puzzle. It also comes with slots. Now, what this is they're called decoration slots. Now, as you can see, there's a rarity level to it. There's a level to it, so you can upgrade your armor and you can find rarer stuff. I think rarity 12 is the highest you can get to, but as far as base game goes, I'm pretty sure it's just 8. 8 is like the max for base game. Iceborne, the DLC, which is basically the game times 2. They made a whole new story, just, it's perfect. If you haven't played Monster Hunter, please give it a try. It is in my top 3 of all time, so that's why this is going to be a special episode, so near and dear to my heart. So, essentially, yes, you get armor pieces, you make a build around the weapon you're using. Now, I use primarily hammer for this character. I do have greatsword builds. I've done just about every single weapon in Monster Hunter World. The only thing I think I didn't use a lot was dual blades and sword and shield. Not a hater. Not a hater. It's just not my playstyle. I don't like small little numbers that scale with damage. I like to see really big numbers. So that's why I use primarily heavy weapons. However, there are other weapons that are really good. Kind of right in the middle. But once again, I'll get into that later. So you have your armor, you pick a weapon. Now there's numerous kinds of weapons. So let's just, you know what, let's sort this out by weapon type, shall we? Category, nope, won't let us do that, will it? Let's go with, yeah, we'll sort by tree. So you have your great sword, you got long sword, sword and shield. So I'm going to go through real quick with every single one of these real quick. So for starters, I already showed you a little bit with hammer. But let me actually get into the basics of hammer. So with hammer, you have a very standard combo. No one really does this. It's normal, but you won't see a lot of people do this. Most people will charge. Now you have your right trigger for charge. That's fully charged. You're not going to do anything else. I don't know a lot of people that walk around like this as hammer users. I prefer big boy damage. You just hit the B button if you're on controller. I don't know what it is on PC or keyboard mouse. Not a big keyboard mouse guy when it comes to Monster Hunter. But this one is your big attack, right? A lot of people do that. They'll run away. They might charge again, and they might do something like that. You're really supposed to throw Y at the end of that combo, so that one's on me. But yeah, you can get your little spin going, and as you get that spin going, you throw a Y right at the end of that for some buku bucks. It's not bad. The hammer's gonna stun the monster primarily. That's really where you're at. When the monster's down, that's where you just spam your B button for the big bang. Oh, I forgot you gotta be hitting something. That's on me. That's on me. It's been a minute. Yeah, your big bang is like, hey, the monster's down. I want to break this part of the monster right here. Yeah, it's pretty solid. So let's move into the next one. All right, so this one is one of my favorite Insect Glaive builds. It's a poison build. Not a lot of people like poison. It's fine. I like it. You don't have to. The cool thing about Insect Glaive is that this weapon comes with a little special bug, and if you shoot something, that bug is going to consistently attack that target. Now, cool part about that is, as it keeps on attacking that target, you can blow up the smoke. So mine is a healing build that also does poison. So you could basically, with Insect Glaive, you're jumping up in the air constantly and hitting those buffs. Now, I will say this. As far as buffs go, you'll see up here, hold on, I gotta hit the pause button. You'll see up here, well, you can't see it when pause it up. Right up here, there's a little gauge. Yeah, it's right next to the mantles. There's a little gauge. You want to fill that up pretty consistently. There's red, white, and orange. Once you have all three buffs, you can do super cool combos. You're not just sitting here on the ground doing little stuff. Oh, there it is right there, actually. That's the attack one, at least. And then, big boy bang. I missed the other side, but it's fine. That's the whole point. The whole point of this is to basically just be able to hit monsters in the air. You're getting a lot of mounting damage, which helps you mount monsters, which we'll also get in later. Next is, we'll do light bowgun. I really enjoy light bowgun. A lot of people don't. They prefer the big one. I prefer the light for some reason. There's different builds for bowguns, but this one's one of my favorites. And the cool part is you can kind of sort through different ammos, right? So like spread ammo I think spread ammo used to be the meta for light bowgun. You get these little bombs and you just start shooting. It's so beautiful when a monster is down to be able to hit them with this. Now they don't have to be down all the time, but then you have your different types of ammo as well that you can use. So, for instance, Pierce. This is a pretty good one because as you shoot them, it pierces through their armor, and it'll do pretty consistent damage. I don't love light bowgun, but I do like it better than heavy bowgun. That's just me. It's a ranged build. It's pretty good overall. All right, now this has got to be one of my favorite builds. And it's only one of my favorite builds, first of all, because I look beautiful. I think I look beautiful in this. This is probably one of my, not only my favorite layered armors, right? But I feel like a ninjutsu version of 2B from the Nier Automata series. But Longsword is so overpowered, and I hate the rep that it gets in the Monster Hunter community because it's not a weeb weapon. It's not. It does feel like it. As you start getting better, it starts to feel like it. But I really don't think that it feels like a weeb weapon. There are people that do. I will say this, though. It's probably one of the stronger weapons out there nowadays. This weapon scales the same way that other weapons with gauges scale. So as you see next to my mantles up there, below health, stamina, and my sharpness gauge, which once again, we'll get into that later as well, you'll see my sword's glowing white. As I do damage to a target, you'll see it turns the middle orange. And once I use my trigger button to do my combo with Longsword, changes colors. If I consistently do this, just get this rotation in, get some pokes where I need to, and then once the monster falls down or is stunned or I have a good timing opportunity, I hit one of these, well, now I'm fully red. Red is where you want to be with Longsword, because now you do just more damage in general just by poking around, right? But also, you can go up in the air with this, right? Get a nice little combo going, boom. Big boy damage. That's big boy damage with the Longsword. Also, probably the best Longsword in the game, my opinion, Monster Hunter fans. Best Longsword in the game. Safi's, well, I probably shouldn't go too in-depth with what I'm using right now. So, in the game, there's different monsters, right? One of the monsters is a raid boss. The raid boss drops really good weapons. The one that I'm currently using, I believe, is called, has a very specific name. Let's go look at it. Nope, not manage items. Have to get into that later as well. Oh, Safi's Shatterblade. It's explosive, it's got high affinity, great sharpness, great attack. This weapon right here, probably peak. One of my best pulls or drops from a raid monster right here. This was meta probably for the longest fucking time. Love this shit. But since I already touched on it once, and I don't want to keep on bypassing it, let me take a pause on weapons and tell you what I like about them, what I dislike about them. Let me go into items. So you have a little item list, right? This is what you take in with you. Obviously, potions and that stuff should be self-explanatory. I don't want to go in depth what everything does. Just know the grind for getting a great inventory consistently to go into fights does suck a little bit. And that will put a damper on my overall rating of the Monster Hunter series. But I will say, World has been the best. Monster Hunter World has been the best. You used to have to build your own pickaxes. Now you don't. So as the series has gone on, they've made things easier. And I will say, that is nice. All right, up next. One of my least favorite weapons, however, if you use it properly, or if one of these people are on your team and they're running something massive, you can't go wrong. Charge Blade's great, okay? I'll be the first one to tell you, Charge Blade's great. I hate using Charge Blade. It consistently isn't fun to me. It just does a lot of damage. And, like, I like that it does a lot of damage, but, like, there's just too much to it. And I hate how you have to fill your vials. So same concept as the Longsword, as you see. But you can put stuff into different vials, and you can, like, transform your axe. Yeah, see, no, I hate this one. I hate it because it's a smart, complicated weapon. All I'll say is, if someone's talented with this on your team, thank you for being a Charge Blade user. Thank you. Because there's some of us that just, as you saw, my main's hammer. So thank you for being out there. I'm not going to go in depth with this weapon. I dislike using it. Overall, I'm also out of practice, I'll say that. So let's do what everyone likes, and that's Greatsword. Greatsword has consistently been one of the best weapons in the Monster Hunter series. If you don't know what to choose, or you're stuck, I have two recommendations for you. It's going to be Longsword or Greatsword. Those are my recommendations pretty consistently if you don't know what to pick. Because you know what a katana does. You know what a big giant greatsword does. But I'll say this. Greatsword's great for two reasons. Literally only two. One, massive numbers. Massive DPS, massive numbers. 2, you can do this little tackle thing that puts you into the next charge of your attack. I missed that. That's terrible. But, I mean, it's such a great feeling because hitting that tackle when a monster attacks you is probably one of the greatest feelings. Especially, that's a terrible 3 charge. I know all the great sword mains are watching me swing this and they're having an aneurysm because I'm like not doing it accurately. I'm not getting big enough numbers. There it is. There you go. See, I hit 4. You're welcome. I was only at 800 in the last one. I didn't hit the full. But that's it. That's all Greatsword is. You will consistently run around. You will wait for the monster to do something. And then once it's down, you'll start throwing your directional attacks in. Yeah, I missed that one too. Sorry, Greatsword users. Not my main. It's becoming more my main as time has gone on, but not my main. That's it. Greatsword's an amazing weapon. Simple. Very simple. The Chads of the game all use this. I'll be honest. The Lance gang is probably one of the cooler gangs of the Monster Hunter series. Lance is cool for 2 reasons. 1, you're consistently not going to get hit. 2, it's a great counter weapon. Hitting this counter when a monster goes to hit you, you can hold it too. Hitting that little counter and hitting that massive damage. Everything comes in pairs of 3s, by the way, for Lance users. So 1, 2, 3, you move. 1, 2, 3, you move. Otherwise, you do this weird animation where you kind of have to move afterwards, otherwise you're just not doing anything. So basically, B is your high thrust, Y is your low thrust, and if you hit both of them, you do this cool swing, pop, swing, and then, yeah. It's great. I like it a lot. It's just not my cup of tea. It's not my playstyle. Gun Lance is more my playstyle, but Lance, also Chads of the game. I mean, every weapon, everyone that, you know, uses it, they're all Chads. I'm not even gonna lie. They're all Chad. Let's hit up with the old goodie. So, Switch Axe has become one of my new faves. And I'm gonna tell you why. Switch Axe does everything. It's an axe. It's a sword. But most of all, it's both. So basically, the whole point of Switch Axe is to basically just start getting this combo out and charge it by getting your good little fancy pants combo. Turns you a little red there, right? Now, the cool part is, you hit this massive attack here, and now you're in it. Now you're in it to win it. Just like the longsword, you have to do a combo. Everyone will tell you there's a different way to do the combo. I'm here to tell you, man. There's no combo that you want to do specifically that's going to do the most amount of damage. It's just whatever you want. Now, normally if this was a monster, you'd just attach yourself to it. You'll literally jump onto them, and you'll do that combo into them. I love it. This is such a great weapon. It's up there in my top, for sure, top 3. I have grown more and more close to this weapon as time has gone on. I'm currently redoing a playthrough of Monster Hunter World before Monster Hunter Wilds comes out, which, stay tuned on the channel. There will be podcast episodes dropping for predictions and news on Monster Hunter Wilds. So definitely check back for that info. But let's move on to our next weapon here. All right, so up next, we have dual blades. I have never made a good dual blades build. I'm pretty sure this build is just a build for fun, because I promise you, anyone that looks at my stats for dual blades is going to say I'm not running what I should be running. It's, you know what? I don't care. This is a fun build for me. It's not my favorite, though. So dual blades is quick, precise damage, and it's a lot of locking onto your target and unlocking on. The biggest thing that you'll see for dual blades users is demon mode. And that's where you kind of just, you're backstepping, you're forward stepping, a lot of lock-ons for the monsters. It's really good, and to be honest with you, you're doing a lot of damage quick. Unfortunately, demon mode does take your stamina, so your dodging will affect how good you do this. or I should say affect how much damage you can do. Because if you're dodging a lot and moving a lot, you're not going to be able to get a lot of damage in because you're moving a lot. So I recommend if you're doing a lot of dodging, stay out of demon mode. That's just me. Other people will tell you otherwise. Listen to them. I'm not an expert. Overall, out of all the weapons we've been through, Dual Blades looks the coolest in my opinion, but it's just not great. It's not for me. It's not for me. I'll say that. All right, bow's cool. Bow is cool. Bow, in my opinion, there's an elitist group of people that love bow out there. And you know what? Good for you. I'm glad you like bow. I don't like the idea of having to always worry about my stamina. Constantly. I basically took 4 shots and dodged a little bit, and I ran completely out of stamina. Don't get me wrong. There's builds to fix this. I know I'm not doing it right, and I'm not an expert. Bow is just the most complicated ranged weapon that we have. However, unless you build it right, it's probably number 1. You heard it here first. I will say, out of all the experts out there that do play bow, I think heavy bowgun does take the cake on damage, but that's guaranteed stunning a monster and being consistent on hitting them. Bow, you can have precision. You can go ahead and load up with that elemental damage, and it's gonna be nasty to fight against as the monster. So let's go last but not least, and I say last, even though there are plenty more builds out there. Sword and Shield. I'm not a huge fan of Sword and Shield, and that's because it's kind of like Dual Blades. Let's see, it won't even let me lock on to the... There it goes. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of the whole lock-on feature in this game. Most people that do play with the lock-on, I don't know how or why they do it. But it's cool. It's a fun weapon to mess around with, to be honest with you. Not my cup of tea. It does come with a lot of mobility. You can use a lot of your items, which are in your item hotbar, while you have your weapon out. 9 times out of 10. It sheathes is pretty quick as well, so that's cool. Overall, not my favorite weapon. Definitely on the bottom of my list, but it is a good weapon nonetheless. So, without further ado, let me... I'm gonna go ahead and put on the one. You know what I mean? Like, the one. We're gonna go with our Shatterblade here. Alright. So, basically, at this point in a hunt, you want to load up. Now, I'm on an expedition, so obviously there's just nothing there. That's great. Alright. The biomes, the atmospheres... Oh, we found them already, huh? They're just so beautiful. There's so many different ones. Be all sneaky, sneaky. I missed my step. It's fine. So, now, overall, it's just really fun to fight monsters, man. Yeah, my cat's doing so much. We got our agitator. Come on. So now that he's chilling, I hit him with that combo. Well, missed it. It's fine. Trying to do my best not to get hit by him. I say that I get hit by him. This monster is probably one of my favorites to fight, just because how fast it is. You don't normally see monsters this fast. Oh, great, he's falling asleep. Hell yeah. So you know what that means. Now that he's asleep, we're gonna hit him with that young... Yeah, you about to find out. Oh, you have to hit him with the last one, I think, to get him. There it goes. Oh, I tried to backstep it. I was smart, but not smart enough. There we are. That is a hunt. I'm currently being affected by the environment. All this rotting flesh over here. But of course, after you kill it, you have to carve it. You have to carve it. And I'll tell you why. Because this is how you get your monster parts. This is how you make stuff. You carve monsters apart. You take their pieces. You usually get like 3 for regular monsters. I think it's 4 for legendaries. You get 5, I think, normally from big ones. I think sometimes 6. Anyway, point being, that's a monster hunt. That's what it looks like. It's not always that easy. I promise you that. Let's go ahead and return from our little quest here. Where's that button? There it is. Oh, wrong button. But that is an expedition. That's a monster hunt. There's different quests. Overall, my initial thoughts playing through this game for the very first time were I was probably at a good 8.7. However, I have played this series for a very long time. So my initial thoughts were, well, they made it easier on everybody. It's not the same Monster Hunter, but as I played it longer, I got better with different weapons. I have to give it, this is a 9.7. Easily a 9.7 with the events, the different monsters they've dropped, the DLC alone, reviving the game, the love they put into this. I think my only reason I can't give it a 10, they didn't put enough effort into this game as far as longevity. This game came out in 2017, and by 2021, they made their final update. I understand, you know, Capcom has a lot of different things on their plate, but it's just so sad to see such a beautiful game only get a few years of love. There are games like, and I won't point fingers, but there are games that have had years, generations of series, and only a few times have they ever changed management, and they consistently put out products. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes if it goes on for too long, they become bad products, but overall, I don't think I've played a bad Monster Hunter game. I think back in the day when it was hard, you had to make everything basically from scratch. You had to build your own pickaxes. Layered armor wasn't really even a thing. The ranks were harder. The raid bosses were consistently harder. I'm looking forward to Wilds for the sheer fact of Capcom listens. The people that work on Monster Hunter, they know their audience. They know what we want. They try different things like Rise. Rise was a trial, test, and fail. I don't hate it, though. Rise wasn't terrible. They do stuff a lot where they test new things. Monster Hunter Now, the phone app, they tested a lot of really cool stuff. And to be honest with you, I'm really happy that they tested that in a phone app, because a lot of stuff that we see in the phone app for Monster Hunter is, in fact, coming to Wilds. But that will be in the podcast episode. I don't want to get too much in depth. We've already taken a lot of time here. So without further ado, thank you for joining me. It's been awesome. TheVikingWeeb here. Please give me a like, a subscribe, and go over to the Bucket Brigade and check out our streams and podcasts over there. It's been my absolute pleasure. Thank you again for joining me, and good night.